We have one final form of risk acceptance to talk about, and it's very simple, so this video is very short. The risk is acceptable because I said so. More precisely, the risk is acceptable because someone who has the authority to accept the risk has accepted the risk. This is actually, believe it or not, appropriate in some circumstances. When you have something which is a risk purely associated with an organisation, then we need a responsible person on behalf of that organisation to accept the risk. Often there is in fact no process or test underlying that, and no real need for the process. It's really a question of risk tolerance as determined by an authorised operator. Where that doesn't apply though, is where there is a third party subject to the risk. So risk acceptance, because I said so, is very suitable for accepting risk on behalf of an organisation for risks which are strictly financial. It's based on who decides, who has the authority, the decision-making capability, rather than on how the decision is made. But this is not suitable for decision-making when you're doing it on behalf of other people, where there is really a clear responsibility to follow a process in accordance with one of the other standards. It may be the risk is acceptable because I said so, because I've weighed it up and compared it to alternatives. It may be the risk is acceptable because I said so, because I compared it to the absolute standard for this type of risk. It may be the risk is acceptable because I said so, because I looked at the mitigations that were in place and agreed that those were the appropriate mitigations. It may be the risk is acceptable because I said so, because I checked the process that was followed in deciding the mitigations, and I agree and sign off that an approved and appropriate process has been followed. All of these, however, invoke the other standards of risk acceptance. They are not by themselves Fiat. Risk acceptance must follow some sort of standard in order to be reproducible, in order to be tested, in order to be reviewed. Acceptance by Fiat is at times used and is at times appropriate, but is very limited, particularly when risk is involved in safety.